Welcome to the Entrepreneur Sound Off. This is Randall Wimmer, your host, and today's podcast is something special for me. I won't beat around the bush. Government Contracting Academy is turning 5 years old in February. February 1st, believe it or not, was when GCAcampus.com went live. That's when I truly committed to doing this full time. What I want to do is I want to do something special, and I want to do that just kind of as a big old thank you hug to the federal government contracting industry. I am offering for free, no strings attached, our government contracting bootcamp. And we're going to do it in the form of a challenge, a 5-day challenge. It's going to be starting on February 2nd through February 6th from 7 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. It's going to be through an interactive classroom. And it's for anybody who's ever thought about launching a federal government contracting company. This is perfect for you. If you already have a government contracting company, hey, this is going to help you jumpstart it. This is going to make 2026 your breakthrough year. If you have a company that's outside of government contracting, this is going to help sell to the world's largest customer, the U.S. federal government. They're spending billions of, hundreds of billions of dollars every single year. Get a piece of that pie. And right now, most people don't realize this, there are more federal government contractors than there are federal civilian employees. If you want to make it to the corporate office and to that program management position, that director level position, that vice president position, executive vice president, or C-suite, you got to know the stuff that we're going to be talking about. This is the business side of government contracting. Now, whatever you're doing right now as a government contractor, you're doing the technical piece of it on a contract. But if you want to make it to the corporate office, you want to get one of those big fat salaries, this is the stuff you got to know. So, what are we going to be covering? Well, on Monday, session 1, we're going to be talking about Government 101 from the government business side. We're not teaching this thing like you're a high school government teacher. This is the stuff you need to know as a business executive in the government contracting industry. Second thing we're going to be doing that, in session 1 is we're going to be identifying the best markets that's going to give you the highest probability of success. One of the most common mistakes that I see that small businesses make when they launch a federal government contracting company is they fish from the same pier as everybody else. There's literally billions of dollars of unused small business set-aside earmarks, and yet people are fishing off the same pier where they're one of 50 bidders on one, and yet other areas where they could be fishing, they can't find enough small business set-asides to even give the earmarks to. Most people get this part wrong. Most people fail because they fail to set up the right kind of company serving the right markets. So that's what we're covering in session 1 on Monday. Session 2, we're going to be covering subcontracting. Small businesses, even existing, GovCon businesses and, companies transitioning into this industry, there's about a 99% chance that you're going to get market traction through subcontracting. We are going to teach you how to dominate the subcontracting market. We're going to show you how to get your company's information to tens of thousands of business development executives and these large prime contract bidders. This is a numbers game. Most people, they're off by an order of magnitude when they're talking about their outreach to get subcontracting opportunities. The third thing that you're going to do is once you get that small subcontract, now you can start to bid. And that's what we're going to talk about on Wednesday, session 3. We are going to teach you how to write life-changing prime contracts. And you can immediately start doing that after you have your first subcontract. That's all it takes. I won my very first prime contract. It was worth $15 million. And the only past performance I had was me, a one-person subcontract. That was it. And I was able to leverage that into a $15 million prime contract. And the reason why is because the only thing source selection boards are allowed to look at is your proposal. So if you know how to write a winning proposal, you're going to win. They don't get to research you. They don't get to go on Google and say, hey, I want to see where their corporate office is, or like, hey, I want to see how many employees they really have. And they don't get to do that. They only get to see what is put in the proposal. And if you know how to do it, you can write a one person's company's proposal to make it seem like they're ideal. No joke. You can totally do that, and we're going to show you how to do that in session 3. Session 4 is probably my favorite, and that deals with GovCon financials. There's a stigma associated with government contracting that it's a low profit margin game. Well, it kind of is. It's the big numbers, lower profit kind of market. I accept that. However, it's not the 5% profit margin that everybody thinks it is. We are going to teach you how to bid 5% margin and manage to 25% margin or 30% margin. So we are going to teach you the tricks of how to really squeeze every single nickel out of a contract. And that includes everything from how you write your pricing proposal, where you get sample salary data, all of that through, how do you manage your people. What most small businesses do is they say, hey, we won this contract, we bid 5%, so okay, let's manage it to 5%. And they'll go out there and they'll kind of delegate it to somebody else, and the leadership of the company starts working on the next bid. That is the worst thing you can do. I'm going to give you my personal experience. Again, getting back to that first prime contract that I won that was worth $15 million. I bid 5% margin. Now, I managed that thing to well over 25%. The reason why I did that is because I was a first-time CEO, and I kept on thinking like, oh my gosh, I may never win another contract. I got to get every single thing possible out of this one. And I very, very aggressively managed it because I thought that it would be a lot easier for me to manage this thing to a 25% plus contract than it would be for me to win 4 more contracts of comparable size. So, because let's just say I had a 1 in 5 chance of winning a contract, that would mean that I would have to bid 20 times to win 4 more, manage that 5% profit margin. Now, what do you think is easier? Taking that one contract that you already have, that you just won, and managing the hell out of it, or going out there and bidding on 20 different bids? It's a lot easier just to manage the hell out of the one that you have. That's what we're going to show you how to do on session 4. And that's GovCon financials and how to maximize profit. And session number 5 is how do you scale? How do you go from one contract to many contracts? How do you make yourself attractive for an acquisition? How do you avoid the plethora of CEO landmines that most CEOs step on? Most small businesses are not acquired. That is a fact, especially in the GovCon industry. And the reason why is because they were like the little piggies. They went out there and they very quickly built a house made out of straw or sticks. And then the big bad wolf, comes down and just, blows the house away. They never thought about how to build a company that had long-standing equity built into it. And that's what we're going to talk about in session 5. How do you grow the damn thing? How do you scale it? How do you cash out? Because let's face it, that's everybody's dream. That's what we're doing. 100% free, no strings attached. And I'm going old school on this one. Why? Because I love the personal connection. I want to be the one sharing this information with you live, in person, rather than recording it and making it available at your convenience. I want this to be live. If you got questions, boom, I'll stick around. I'll stick around as late as I need to answer every single question that you have. What do you need to do? Well, you need to register. The link is in the description of this podcast. So please, 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 please register as quick as you can, because we do have a limitation on how many people we can accept because of our platform. We have some constraints there that we're using for the interactive classroom. So please register as quickly as you can, and I hope to see you on February 2nd at 7 p.m. I believe that if you attend these 5 2-hour sessions, you will learn what you need to know in order to create a life-changing business. I hope to see you there.